course he did.
Maple leaf flag. Good pace. Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Glorious and free!
Gotta meet one of these two Europeans. It never looked like it was getting there. Well, it's there. It's right in the middle. Look at Ram on the other side.
He's all the way back. Koepka conquers the PGA uphill.
Brilliant to the end. And on Seve's birthday, Spain reigns again at Augusta. And John Ram is the Masters champion.
Good evening, welcome to Putting for Dough, the Golf DFS show. Just a 2-ball tonight. Nick didn't make the cut. He's away again. It's not even football this time, is it, Jack? He's come up with another excuse.
Yeah, he's away on a work trip apparently.
Yeah, work. And yes. But anyway, we're in the safe hands of Jack tonight. So we missed last week, Jack, because unforeseen circumstances. I think I did jinx this for you because I was actually going to suggest we don't do last week because it's Mexico, and I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of a break. But yeah, so you're recovering well, I understand.
Yeah, I am. I'm fine. That was my first show I think I've ever missed, like due to something happening. So it was
pretty good excuse.
Yeah, it was. But I appreciate everyone with their messages and things like that. I'm sorry we couldn't be around last week. Did get the newsletter out and things like that, and did get the showdown calls out. But yeah, sorry we couldn't be around and get you a show out last week. But hey, it was the Mexico Open, like Mark said, and yeah, I actually had a good week. I don't really do terrible at those weeks. It's funny as well because them high scoring events are just not normally my bag. Everyone knows that, which is why I love this week more. But I did have a very good 6-6 lineup last week. I made a run at a 5-5-5 ticket. Didn't quite get over the line. I know what I did wrong within my build because I analysed it after. There was just a little bit too much chalk in the build. Had I played a lower owned guy, because Jake Knapp was quite highly owned. There was some quite highly owned guys up there. Nikolai Højgaard got a load more steam than I thought he was going to get as well. So I just needed one more lower owned guy. And I did have Robbie Shelton, but unfortunately he decided that he just wanted to choose violence on the Sunday when he went round, and it just killed my lineup, unfortunately. But I made a run at it. It was nice to make a run at it, and I made some good profit last week. I had David Lipsky as a each way first round leader last week. That nearly came in thanks to Lee Aldrich, who was on our show for the Genesis 2 weeks ago. I read his value report and I read his course fit rankings, and he had Lipsky both in the value report and the course fit rankings. I know Lipsky normally is a bit of a hot starter. He gets hot with a putter pretty early. And so I thought, you know what, let's have a little go on him for first round leader. I never, ever do them bets normally. And he made a good run at it. So, you know, fair play. Unfortunately for me, Eric Van Rooyen decided he wanted to nuke in the afternoon when everyone else was doing bad in the afternoon. But we still made some solid profit on the week. I had a nice week. I can't complain. And I'm looking forward to this week even more. This is my bag this week, as I say. I love these tough golf courses.
Last week, didn't you, at the beginning of the week, say something like you're in trouble because EVR was ranking well or something in your model? or
Yeah,
something
he
like that,
was.
right at the beginning.
He actually ranked number one within my
Yeah.
model, and it's funny actually because I said the same thing about Player Today. He ranked number one in my model, and
Yeah. Yes.
I've gone and adjusted the model again. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see if
Yeah.
Magnus strikes twice this week. But yeah, EVR was the number one player in my model last week. You know, he fell away a bit over the weekend, didn't he? He had that hot start and then fell away over the weekend a little bit. But yeah, it was a weird tournament. I watched a lot of it. It was kind of over on the Saturday as well, Jake Knapp. But I kind of knew that he was probably going to win that. He decided to choose violence as well on the Sunday. He started very badly, but managed to hold on. Very good up and downs and things like that. Very good around the green play. And yeah, he managed to get over the line. So yeah, it was a weird event in general. I don't particularly like the Mexico Open, but thankfully it's behind us.
I don't have any idea what happened in it because I was doing so badly after round two. My worst tournament of the year so far that I didn't even pay any interest. And at the end of like Sunday or something, I got a little notification of the actual money I'd got back, which, wasn't profit. Although, the way some people account for this stuff on Twitter, they would call it profit. But it wasn't profit. And yeah, so I didn't really pay much attention on the Saturday, Sunday because I was just so fed up how badly it went. But what I did, I don't think this was wrong. I said to you, I went for a very, very balanced set of lineups, as in ridiculously balanced, because almost every show I listened to, and when I ran lineups, everything was all stars and scrubs. So I thought I'd go differently. Just ended up with the wrong players, as it were, because of that. I don't think it was a bad thing to actually go balanced because it wasn't the standard build. But with those sort of situations, you've got to accept you're either going to do really badly or really well, and I went badly.
That happens, doesn't it? We talk about that a lot on strategy and things like that. You take your lumps and things like that when it happens, and unfortunately, it happened for you last week.
Yeah.
You
terrible.
You do it like this week might be completely different. This week, I don't think it will be. We'll talk strategy in a minute, but this week could be the start. Like this could be the week that you need to jam in 2 stars and then build a load of scrubs into it with it.
Yeah.
But,
we'll talk about that because something has actually changed on DK, which has got me thinking about a couple of things as well, Jack, which I didn't warn you about. I was going to ask you about, but there we go. We'll see how we get on with that. What was the other talking point of this week? Anthony Kim returning to Live. There was that.
Anthony Kim is returned. I think Nick's more excited about that than anyone.
I think Nick's more excited than Anthony Kim.
It doesn't really move the needle for me or bother me.
No.
Will I watch Live? Yeah, because it's on during the day and then I can watch the PGA Tour at night. So yes, I will watch the Live event this week. I'm not watching it for Anthony Kim, though. I'm watching it for my favourite golfer in the world, Jon Rahm. That's it. And a couple of, there's other golfers there that I like. I like Bryson DeChambeau, as I've mentioned. Although I think we need to start putting an asterisk next to these winners because these are not the best fields, as Mr. Taylor Gooch has gone out there and said today. That did make me laugh. I just put the old Joker gif on Twitter, and here we go, because I just knew it would set Twitter off, and it kind of did. So.
Why is this still a thing? Why is this still a thing? But there you go. I know.
The Masters have allowed Joaquin Niemann into the field now, which is great. He deserves that. I think we mentioned that on the Genesis show actually, but that is great that he's in that field. He's very young, he's so talented, and people can say to me, "Oh, he's took the money and he's made his bed." Blah 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 blah. I just want to see the best golfers play golf, and Joaquin Niemann is one of those. So yeah.
I feel generally, I think on the PGA Tour, there's lots of good young golfers at the moment as well. I think it's quite an exciting time of golf coming up. Next few years and stuff. I think because definitely.
These two, we've said it before. These 2 tours are going to come back together at some point in some shape or form. I don't know how it's going to work, but they will come back together in some shape or form. but yeah, it's exciting because you're getting a lot of young talent on the PGA Tour. There's a lot of young talent on Live. Like I love Caleb Surratt, who's on John Rahm's team on Live. He's 19 years old, and I think he's absolutely outstanding. He's an outstanding golfer, and who better to learn from than John Rahm? Like that's a great person to learn from. So yeah, I like I think there's great young talent on both sides of the tour. We've got Ludwig Aberg on the PGA Tour, which is great as a European fan. So yeah, it's golf's not in a good place at the minute, but it kind of it's made it interesting. So,
I think you're right. It's not in a good place from almost like an admin point of view, but from a talent point of view, I think it's in a very good place at the moment and stuff. But there you go. Okay, talking of admin, Jack, what admin do we have to talk about now? We've got Listener League and what was the other thing off the top of my head? Discord, newsletter. That's the three, isn't it?
Yeah, so the Listener League's already open. I will have a DP World Tour one and a Live one open eventually when DraftKings decide that they want to open those contests. But yeah, get involved in that. The winner gets into our Tournament of Champions at the Open Championship. The newsletter will be out tomorrow, as usual, and all the juicy stuff in there. Michael, Sexy Sixers, course preview, weather, stats. You name it, it's all in there. What you need. Discord, head on over to Discord. I put a link out on Wednesday evening for the Discord, a new one, because the Discord links only last a week for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it's a Discord thing. But get on in. Get involved, get in there, and you get my showdown calls that I put in there every showdown slate. I had a very good showdown slate, just a couple of showdown slates myself this weekend. I using the cause. I used the cause and I won a load of F1 tickets, so that was good. And what else? The tracker as well. This is up. I run some massive updates on that yesterday, so I've now got part of the PGA Championship field in there, part of the US Open field in there, and part of the Open Championship field in there. So there's some big updates. There was another commitment into the Houston Open, and then there was some more commitments into API as well. So there's there's been big updates there. Head over to Fantasy National for that, and your it's all there, all that you need to plan your season long fantasy golf contests.
The showdowns are definitely hitting 3 out of 4 at the moment, aren't they? I just think that's just the rate of it, and that's a wonderful rate. You can't expect much more than that. No, showdown and stuff.
Round one's definitely the hardest one to hit because you don't have any stats to work with, as you only got stats going into the tournament to work with. And round one, I just generally try to play guys that go out early in the morning because they're going to get the softest of the conditions. That's all I try to do, really. But it's a hard one to hit. I've hit it a couple of times, but yeah, like you say, we get 2 out of 4 most weeks, but we've been hitting a lot of 3 out of 4s as well. So.
Definitely 3 out of 4s, and also rounds 2 and 3 for me, I think, are the best with the showdown. Just pick the best golfers who've done badly the day before because they just don't get any ownership. I've done
that on round 4 this week. I just picked Nikolai Højgaard and Harry Hall. They done terrible on the round 3, and then Harry Hall shot 6 under and Nikolai Højgaard shot 3 under. So I was just like, done.
And they're probably 5% owned each as well, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's the only place in showdown is the only place in golf you can get Scheffler at 7% or something like that, which I did a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so shall we talk about the not Honda Classic anymore? The Honda Classic is just the name I always remember. This is going to annoy the crap out of me now. The Cognizant Classic. Can we have your course preview, please, Jack?
We can. So we head to Palm Beach Gardens in Florida to PGA National, the champion course. This is a Tom and George Fazio design in 1981, and it got redesigned by Jack Nicklaus in 2002, 2014, and 2018. It's a par 71 this week. It was a par 70 last year, but they've adjusted hole 10 from a par 4, a very, very long par 4, which played as one of the hardest holes on the course, to a par 5. So I think the scoring is going to be a little bit better this week, but it won't be much just because of one hole. So we were on a par 71 at 7,125 yards long. Water comes into play on 15 holes here. You've got the fairways of Bermuda, the rough is Bermuda, and the greens of Bermuda. Historic winning score here for me is going to be around 10 under par, I think, this week again. And the cut for me will be about 2 over par. PJ National is anything but your traditional short plodders course. It's got tight landing areas off the tee and false layups everywhere with tight dog legs. Water's present throughout the property, as I mentioned. It's present on 15 holes, and it's going to test even the best golfers' nerves this week. The property also features a ton of bunkers, which is traditional for Jack Nicklaus golf courses. He just plants them everywhere. And then you've also got the dreaded 3-hole stretch called the Bear Trap from holes 15 to 17. These 3 holes played as the 4th most difficult 3-hole stretch on the PGA's schedule last year. Water looms throughout the Bear Trap, which includes 2 175-yard par 3s and a tight dogleg par 4 just over 430 yards. It always makes for an exciting finish here, with chasers forced to get aggressive and tight pin locations over the water here. So, yeah, it's a tough golf course this week. It's nothing like what you saw last week at Mexico. There's going to be a lot of bogeys this week.
So yeah, golfers kind of just sort of end up sparring a little bit, don't they, if they haven't got it up there and stuff all the time.
Yeah, if you can, golfers can nuke themselves out of this tournament very, very quickly here. And that is mainly due to the fact because of the weather. I mentioned it on Twitter earlier. This is not a place to come and find your game. This golf course is a championship style golf course. It probably deserves a major at some point. And to be fair, it probably deserves. It's got a good field this year, but it probably deserves an even better field than what it's getting.
Yeah. Before we start talking about some changes to do to strategy and stuff, is there any particular area of your model which is unusual to a normal week, or anything you're particularly emphasising?
So I'm looking at bogey avoidance. Keegan Bradley, a quote here from him, it's kind of like the US Open where you've got to hit a lot of fairways and greens and make 10-foot putts to save par, basically. As I mentioned, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble here very, very quickly. So avoiding bogeys is going to be a success to winning here. Scrambling, it's not a stat that I look at a ton, but it's crucial around here. PGA National ranked 4th out of 38 courses in penalty strokes per round in 2023. And so basically, put simply, you need to be able to get up and down pretty well here. And then I'm looking at strokes gain proximity from 125 to 150, proximity from 150 to 175, proximity from 175 to 200. There's a lot of array of different shots here. Strokes gain putting on Bermuda, strokes gain approach, and a good drive percentage. I want my drivers to be accurate around here. I don't think there's a massive real advantage to bombing it, although I think you could get away with bombing it, but you have to be accurate. You have to be accurate.
So this is something I'll ask you as a golfer, Jack, as well. So the average drive off here is lower than a lot of courses.
Yeah.
But if you're a longer hitter, then I'm assuming that when you're playing approach shots, you use a lower club.
Yes,
because you hit the ball
correct.
further. And so if you're going to have hard and fast greens, and actually the fact that you can hit the ball further is actually going to benefit you from using a lower club on your approach shots. So
That's correct. Yeah.
So the driving distance is almost like not a driving distance stat in this instance. It's like an approach stat.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I for instance, I bet Cameron Young this week. And that's
Scam Young. You call him Scam Young most weeks.
Yeah, mainly because I have a problem. I'm addicted to betting him. I don't know why, but he should have a real advantage like that this week. He should be hitting a lot of wedges in from where other guys are going to be hitting sort of five irons, 6 irons in. And like you mentioned, Mark, it's hard to stop the ball on these greens normally, but apparently it's even harder this year. Some of the quotes that I've seen come out of here is that this place is baked out and it's incredibly hard to stop stuff. There is rumours that they might walk with the course. I kind of hope they don't. I love carnage. Just give me it. Like I want them to be hitting shots into concrete greens, so to speak. I don't want it easy for these guys. So yeah, I mean, I think there is a bit of an advantage to having the driving distance, but you need to be so accurate if you're going to do it. That's the like. This golf, I'm surprised he hasn't turned up. Actually, this golf course would suit Ludwig Aberg down to the ground.
Yeah,
so I'm very surprised he hasn't shown up here this week.
And he would fit in nicely in the 11Ks, wouldn't he? It's nice to be talking about it being baked and everything as opposed to waterlogged, which, you know, before the Mexico was like every single week was a waterlogged course, etc.
Well, there is potentially a weather edge this week. At the minute, I'm sort of favouring PM AM, and that's just due to winds. That's all. But that can change at any time, so you need to monitor that. Again, if you're putting in 20 lineups, I don't know if you would do it like this, Mark. I would probably do 10 PM AM and then 10 AM PM. Just build both ways, and then you're covered. You're covered on both bases.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. It doesn't always necessarily have to be 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Based on if you've got a feel, you might do 12 and 8.
Yeah.
But when you say AM and PM as well, you don't necessarily have to have all 6 in each. You can do 5 and 1 as well. Yeah. You know, if you want to, or 4 and 2 sometimes and stuff. Especially if the 2 are really good players. Because, you know, the other thing about trying to get too cute about this weather stuff and all of that is you know, they suspend rounds and things like that and stuff. So you
can try and get too cute. I mean, we've done it over the past, and it's come back to bite us on the arse because it's just like, well, the golfers that we thought were getting the good conditions are now going out in the awful conditions. So
and you used to say it was you used to think it was a showdown thing, but actually, again, if they suspend rounds and they leave them starting the following day and stuff, actually for showdown it doesn't even help you particularly and stuff. So it's I think sometimes people get too caught up in that. Let's put it that way. You know, good golfers are good golfers. It's not gonna suddenly make scrolls down this Tyler Collette play like Scotty Scheffler a weather advantage. So, you know, just to bear that in mind. Anyway, talking of which, let's talk about some players, but specifically, let's talk about pricing. So last week on DraftKings, they had a 5,000 range, which I assumed, and I assume a lot of people did, was because the Mexico Open was such a weak field.
Yeah.
And then this week we're back and there's still another 5,000 range. And there's actually players whose names I recognise in there and stuff as well. You know, players we play every week, normally in the 6s or early 7s and stuff. And I have a couple of thoughts about this, Jack, but I just what's your initial thoughts about it?
I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because I think it makes the game too easy. I think you can literally build. I think the builds just become very easy because of this. So I think if you're going to have a 5K range, then you need to price some people up a bit more. So I think Rory should be up at 13,000, for instance, to make things a little bit harder. For instance, this week, I think the popular build will be Rory and Eric Cole to start with, because it just leaves you so much money still. That's just my general thoughts on it. I don't like it because I think it makes the game too easy, and I maybe it's a selfish reason. I feel we kind of lose an advantage because of that. I think it drives up ownership even more than what it would normally. I'm just not a fan of it. We've seen it a couple of times now. Like we saw it. I think they test run it a few times last year, didn't they? And you know, I'm always willing to give something a try, but I didn't like it last week. I really didn't like it last week, and I don't like it at all this week.
So, I have a thought about this related to cash games. About it. So I spoke to you and Nick about this right at the beginning of the season. I was saying, generally speaking, in cash games, you need 4 out of 6 will pretty much, you'll be profitable over a year for definite. If you got 4 out of 6 through every week. If you had 3 of the top 5, you could probably get 3 out of 6 through and be profitable in cash as well. But I did say at that point, well, why wouldn't you just choose, say, 2 min price players so you can get the best 4 and then just hope one of the win price players does something, but you're in pretty good situation. Thing is, if you just put in one 5k player now, your average for the other 5 goes up to 9k. I think for cash games that could be quite a big deal. And then if you put in another, say, 5.5 or a 6k player, your average for the remaining 4 is actually let me do the 5-5. It's actually just under 10. If you do 5, it's meant.
Yep.
So I just think it might mean there might be a way to take advantage of this in cash games, or the other side of it is it'll make cash games harder because it's so much easier to get more good players in your lineup by just sacrificing a spot. And let's be honest, there's going to be somebody in that 5 to 5.5 range who will probably make the cut.
There was loads last week. Parker Harrington made the cut, and there was loads last week that made the cut out of there. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of it. I hope it goes away pretty quickly, but I kind of doubt it will. I think if they've run it back to back now, I could kind of see this staying.
We'll see what happens on a signature event because obviously it's all very different then as well. We've
got a signature event next week at the API,
so we'll see then what they're going to be doing with that. I did find that very interesting. So as you said, it does kind of make it pretty easy, mainly because, for want of a better phrase, the quality down in the bottom, actually, especially around the 6k, is not that bad. There's plenty of names there we've even recommended in the past. But two expensive players, from 9.5 and upwards is just very doable.
Yep.
Very doable. The other thing I've been looking at, which I'm not sure how many people will do this, but it's actually quite easy to put 3 high-priced players in.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean,
it's very easy.
I'm pretty sure the optimal last week had Tony Finau, Jake Knapp, and Steven Yeager in it.
Yeah,
that was the optimal lineup last week. So that must have had. Well, it did. It had a 5k guy in there and probably someone in the 6ks.
Yep. And then you can still get So if you do say, I've just done this because these are names I've heard on a lot of shows and stuff so far. Poston, Cole, and Henley.
Yeah.
You've still got 6-7 average. There's some great players down there. Your fave Bobby Mack, he's there, 6-5.
Yeah.
I
tell you, there's another one down there, right? Right. I recommend them off the back here. Where is it? Let me just go down. It's Parker Coody.
Yeah.
At 5,100. Missed the cut here last year, but has made his last 2 cuts in on the tour, where he finished 24th in Mexico and he finished 25th at the Farmers.
Yeah.
Playing very good golf at the minute. Strokes gained on approach in both Mexico and the Farmers. Strokes gained off the tee to green, as well. And strokes gained putting. That's just. I'm just recommending one player there who I'd quite happily put in a lineup. He's way too cheap. I don't know what they've done with this pricing.
He actually sticks out for me down there as well. Funny enough.
Yeah, at 5,100.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put him in a lineup, you can pretty much do what you like with the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's thing about players down there is you're not going to get green. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. It doesn't matter how many things. You're not going to get greens all across the board. But what you want to do is kind of you're planting your flag on. They do one thing well, as it were, or something like that and stuff. And players like David Lipsky do one thing well and stuff.
Well, he was funny last week. I say I had him as the first round leader. He done really well. Got 6 under, and then he missed the cut.
Yeah, but he's 5'2" here. He's 5'2". I just think that's ridiculous for him comparison with other players around him and stuff.
Well, just for instance, right? So if you put Parker Coody into your lineup first, that leaves you with 8,980 average per player for the rest of your lineup.
Yeah, and I think your cash lineup, it's so easy to build that because there's 2 guys in the mid 7s who you can put in. I think you can just sort of whack in there. I
think I might already have the cash line up here. Who's your guys in the 7s you're going with? Bez?
Yep. Svensson and Hoagie are my three sort of options. If I was doing it, top three of those.
What's Svensson?
7-7 and Hoagie
What's Hoagie?
7-9.
I want to put. We're going to put Hoagie in. That leaves me. So I've just gone Parker Cooney, Rory McIlroy, Eric Cole, Bez, Hoagie, and that leaves me with 7,300. And that would get me to Taylor Montgomery, who I'd quite happily play.
Who you got? Parker Cody.
Parker Cooney.
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy.
Oh, you got Rory in there. Okay, got you.
Yeah. I'm just going to play like a real chalky lineup here. Rory McIlroy, Eric Cole, who would be popular, Seabez, Hoagie, and then that leaves me with 7-3. And there's loads here that will be popular. Taylor Montgomery would be popular in this range. Matt Wallace would be popular in this range as well because he had a good week last week. I'd quite happily put Taylor Montgomery in this lineup, and then that'd be my cash lineup. I'd quite happily have that as a cash lineup.
So I just done a quick cash lineup of Parker, Bez, Svensson, Hoagie, McIlroy, and Arn. Benny again, going to be very popular, etc., etc. Again, because the McIlroy Arn thing, you've basically, when you got to those last two on Lyon, you've got 10-8 left. Yep. So you've got pretty much everybody. You could play Cam Young, Russell Henley. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter.
We've just proven why that we don't really like that 5K range there. If you're going to have that 5K range, you need to do a better job of pricing these golfers.
When you said Rory being a 13, it might not be high enough with the 5K range. You might need to be 14.
It may well be, but if
Cam Young would be 12.5 or something, you know.
I just think if you're going to have that 5K range, it needs to be priced a lot better. Yeah. The golfers need to be sorted better.
Yeah. See, I wonder whether their motivation here is to allow people to pick who they want to pick, if you see what I mean, to some degree. I wonder if that's it.
That's what it is, but it then becomes very easy, doesn't it? And I just don't really see the point of it then.
Yeah.
Am I still going to play? Of course.
Of course. And we're trying to try and take advantage of it. And I'm just looking at this. I'm just wondering, by the way, just a quick aside, how many people are going to play Rasmus Højgaard, thinking he's Nikolai Højgaard this week because he's 8'5".
He doesn't bomb it as far as his brother.
No. It's like I just wonder how many people are going to make that mistake.
Friend of the show, Paul, wanted just to talk about Daniel Berger. So I'll just quickly jump into that. So Paul, he finished fourth here in 2022. He obviously didn't play it in 2023 because he was injured. Before that, he played it in 2020 when he finished T4, and then in 2019 he finished T36. Very good course history. I did say I was waiting on him and Zalatoris to show me something. I've actually played Daniel Berger once this year, and that was at Phoenix Open. He showed me something there. He finished 28th there, T28, gained strokes across the board, except around the green. He's going to need to gain the strokes around the green this week. Missed the cut of the Farmers, but I can forgive that. Made the cut of the American Express there. So he's had a sort of a mixed bag to start. Course history here is pretty good. I take it this is a one and done question because your ones normally are. Would I want to risk him here? I mean, where are you going to use him if you don't use him here? Maybe you do save him for down the line when he's played a little bit more golf. If not, I would personally probably use someone like a Shane Lowry here if you've still got Shane Lowry, but that's just me. But yeah, if you're not going to use Daniel Berger down the line, use the tracker and the season-long tracker there. You'll see what he's playing, etc. If you're not going to use Daniel Berger down the line, then yeah, there's probably worse places to use him than here, really.
I'm this week I'm using a short-term model, and he's actually top 5, Daniel Berger, which surprised me a little bit. So I just, especially as he's missed a cut. So I just need to investigate that. But actually, he's actually ranking out pretty well on a number of things for me at the moment. It would definitely be in my pool. I've been like, I'm more cautious than anybody about injured golfers, I think. So I wait for people like you, Jack, to say you've played them or you're willing to play them before I even consider them. So yeah, but again, it's you can play so many golfers in that sort of late 8s and early 9s. You know, one of our show favourites, Stephen Yeager's there at 8.
Yeah.
He's going to make the cut, kind of because that's what he does. I don't know. Last week I wasn't on him last week because he hadn't been doing particularly, you know.
He came third last week.
Yeah, exactly, and then he came third. That is
I bet him, so that's why I know.
Yeah. So yeah, in terms of lineups and stuff. So let's just imagine you're doing a single lineup, Jack, in a single entry, like the Listener League or something.
Yeah.
Are you doing stars and scrubs? Are you going balanced? I mean, obviously, the bigger the tournament, the bigger the single entry is. I think slightly different to a very small one, but
yeah, I mean, it depends. I people just turn around to me and say, "Oh, you just don't like Rory McIlroy," and all this. I actually do think he's got the same, equity as winning here as he has missing the cut as well. I think he could miss the cut quite easily here as well. I've seen Rory implode. He hasn't been particularly good in the US this season. He started the season well on the DP World Tour, but he hasn't been particularly good. He was T24 at Genesis, T66, pretty much dead last at Pebble Beach. And he's losing. He's lost on approach in both events this season on the PGA Tour so far. So yeah, I'm not a massive. Would it surprise me if he won? No. Would it surprise me if he misses the cut? No. So I'm probably going to stay away from Rory at the top there, to be honest, like I normally do anyway. But if you wanted to build like your sort of single entry lineup for the Listener League, for example, I think you could. I mean, Eric Cole's the number one player in my model, so I'd probably just start there with Eric Cole.
Yeah. Rory's sort of very average on all my stats I'll be looking at so far.
Yeah.
But he is the class player in the field. That is just a fact.
Yeah.
If he wins it, nobody's surprised and stuff. They just made it very easy for you to get him this week. Yeah.
See, so I'd probably start my lineup like that. Like I'd start with Eric Cole. I think Justin Rose is criminally underpriced at his price there. I don't know about you.
Yeah, he's seventh in my model at the moment.
Yeah, he ranks high in my model. He's inside the top 10 on my model. He hasn't played this for a while, and the last time he did play, he did miss the cut. But this just seems like his style of track. Finished T11 at Pebble Beach, T56 at Farmers, T57 at Sony, T40 at Century. Hasn't really been a hot start, but he hasn't done anything like majorly bad. He's putting very well at the minute. He hasn't. Jesus Christ! And look at his putting here. He hasn't lost putting since last year's US Open. In stats, he hasn't lost strokes game putting since last year's US Open. So he's putting well. He's a bit of a plodder, but I think he's just criminally underpriced at that range at 8K. And could I see Justin Rose winning here? Most definitely. He's
currently not getting any ownership.
I would quite happily play him in a single entry lineup at that price because he's dirt cheap. I'd start him with Eric Cole. You've put the popular pick in Eric Cole in, and then this is where you get a little bit different with Justin Rose.
Yeah, and also where he is, he's got like Hoagie Svensson, Bez, who are going to get popular and stuff. And above him, he's got like Luke List, who people like to play, Noren, who people like to play, Hostler, Jake Knapp. I don't know, actually. It'll be interesting to see. But I don't know if Jake Knapp will get all the ownership people expect because it's very rare you these when they win, especially his first win. Especially because he's only played so few times.
Yeah, spoiler alert, you do not play Luke List in Florida. Just letting you know.
Yeah, but people always like playing Luke List, though, don't they?
Not on Bermuda. You do not play him on Bermuda.
Yeah.
You keep talking, Mark. I'm just going to go on Luke List and look at his Bermuda stats. He's missed a cut here every time he's played it.
By the way, I'm not playing Luke List, okay?
No. I'm just going off on a jet run.
Yeah.
He is awful at putting on Bermuda.
Yeah.
This is by far one. He's a bad putter anyway, but this is by far one of his worst surfaces to putt on.
Yeah. So, but he's usually popular and usually gets owned pretty well. He's not looking great at the moment and stuff. At the moment, Jake Knapp is projected to be owned under 3%. I don't know. I could be tempted by that. I know I hate the idea of playing somebody who's only played like 6 times and won one and stuff, and he's probably been on the drink all week. But he's been so consistent other than his first event. At 8-4, if he's going to come in at 3%.
I wouldn't. I don't think I can get to him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's only because of the ownership that I'm thinking about him.
Did you see him chugging beers at the end of that?
Well, that's exactly the issue, isn't it? And stuff, you know. He end up in the next Anthony Kim, just spotted in nightclubs.
Right. So the last time Luke List played the Honda Classic, he lost minus 5.5 strokes putting. The last time he played.
Fine. Cool. Well,
I hope I've done enough. I hope I've done enough there to put people off playing him. I really do.
Nick will still play him. And he'll still play him.
I tell you who Nick will play. Min Woo Lee. I know Nick down to the ground, and he will play Min Woo Lee at 9,600.
I want to play Min Woo Lee. I want a reason to play him. I just haven't got one at the moment.
He's been bad.
Yeah. He's not ranking well on anything for me, so which is really upsetting me because I wanted to play him, mainly because nobody else plays him. And he's in a funny position where he's, you know, the players he's got around him are going to be popular.
Should we just go off the tangent? Should we just quickly build a couple of lineups?
Yeah. Let's finish off by doing that.
And we can just, we can talk about a few players there while we're doing.
Yeah.
Should we just start with this single entry one that I was building then? Cole and Justin Rose.
Cole Rose. Yep, got my own.
Because we've got a little bit different with Justin Rose there, so we could probably eat a bit of chalk in that 7K range if you want to. Do you want to eat Bez at 7.6?
Yeah, Bez. I mean, there's lots of players. There's a few players. I like Mark Hubbard here as well.
Yeah, I always like Mark Hubbard. Although he let me down at the end there. I tell you, he's really cheap this week. Justin Sir makes loads of birdies at 6.8. I do like him at 6.8. Stick Sir in, and we'll stick Mark Hubbard in, and then that leaves us for 2 players. 8, 9.
Oh, I've got Cole Rose, Bez, Hubbard, and Sir.
All right,
but you haven't put Bez, have you?
Yeah, I'll put Bez in. That's fine.
Yeah, then you've got 10-2, which gives you a Russell Henley if you want him.
And that would get different because I don't think Russell Henley's going to get a lot of ownership here. Tom Kim is probably a better caliber of player, but there's a load of options. You could get to Sung Jae as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, there's lots. Yeah, it gives you basically all those options, doesn't it, to finish that off?
That's not a bad lineup, I don't think, at all.
No, you're going to be different. You've got some. Yeah, I think if anybody listens to anything and stuff, they're going to be automatically forced to think, birdie makers aren't the players to play this week.
Yeah.
But as you know, with DraftKings scoring, you get more points by going birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey than you just by just going par, 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 par.
I was going to say, I tell you what I do want to do quickly.
Yeah.
I want to see if we can do a Rory and the Cam Young lineup.
Rory, Cam Young. Okay, they're in 6-7.
Right, 6-7.
So you're going to need Parker Cody in that, aren't you? Really?
No? Well, I mean, like you've mentioned, there's a few in that 5K range that I like. I'll include some in the newsletter this week. But yeah, let's stick Parker Cody in at 5-1 because we both really like Parker Cody.
Yeah, he's definitely too low.
That gets us to 7-3. So maybe you do want someone in the. How much is Dylan Wu? Because I really like Dylan Wu here.
Yeah, he is 6-1.
Yes, you stick him in. He's another one, way too cheap. Just look at the stats on him, way too cheap. Dylan Wu. Stick him in, and then that gets you back up to 7-9.
I know, which means
for 2 players.
Yeah, which you can go back to Rose and, I don't know, Svensson, Bez, Hubbard, any combination of those, really, if you want. You can also put in something like somebody who's doing quite well on ranking highly at the moment. I'm not entirely sure why. Is Bhatia at 6-9 or Bhatia? How do you call it?
6-9 he is.
Yep.
Wow.
Bhatia 6-9.
I mean, if you stick Bhatia in this line,
you got 9. You got 9 to spend. Said you can go for someone safe like Jaeger or something if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a bit dangerous, haven't you? Down the bottom there, you have Keith Mitchell, Denny McCarthy, Jaeger, Pavon, Stracker. It's a shame you can't get to Corey Connors because I'd like Corey Connors here at that price. But
we just need to drop down.
Yeah,
Bhatia, or you take out Coody to 5K.
I don't think. Yeah.
You can go to like a Justin's. I've heard him. Eckroat, Carson Young. You know, they're
Just
not
with,
terrible.
just with that lineup there, you can see it on the Sunday, right? Rory and Cam Young coming down the stretch, competing with each other. You've got Jaeger, who's sort of top 15, Barty a top 20, Dylan Wu hanging around the T30 mark, and then Parker Coodie's made the cut. Might be dead last in the field, but like just that what a lineup that could like. This is why the prices are silly.
And the other thing is, we've done it with Wu and Bartier and Jaeger.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it like that if you don't want to. You can do it with the mid seven, the early sevens.
Yeah.
All three of them could be early sevens. So I just, so yeah,
we're just mucking around with it.
Yeah, exactly. So McElroy, Young, Coodie, and we got an 8-8 in there with Jaeger. But
it's just. Yeah. I just want to try. I'm going to try a 3.9K. I mean, yeah, it's just
3.9Ks is really easy.
Yeah, I've just gone Im Connors Lowry. That's 7.3 per player. So I'm going to go down to Parker Cooney, stick him in again, and it takes me back up to 8.4.
And
wow.
7.3 doesn't. In the old days, where you got the 6K as the bottom, 7.3 seems low.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem low here though. Some of the names below that are just mental.
I've just done that. It took me back up to 8.4. I'm going to stick Justin Rose in. It takes me back up to 8.8 for the last player, so I can get Stephen Jaeger in. So I've gone Sung Jae Im, Corey Connors, Shane Lowry, Parker Cooney, Justin Rose, Stephen Jaeger. What a lineup!
I think it's going to make cash games harder. This.
Yeah, I think it is.
I thought it was going to be good for us for cash games, but I think it's going to make it harder.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need not just players who make the cut, players who actually do well.
I mean, that just seems like a cash lineup right there. I know some of them guys are not getting a lot of ownership.
I know. But I think that's a cash lineup as well. I don't think cash in golf is necessarily always about the ownership. But I'm just wondering how many of those 9K guys can you do a 9K guys lineup?
Let's try that. Right, so I'll keep Lowry, Connors, and him.
It's easy. I've just done 9.1 to 9.4. It's easy.
Well, I've just kept Parker Cooney in as well.
Yeah.
So it's
ridiculous.
Let me stick in Benny Ann because he's getting chalk. Oh my god! So I've got Sung Jae Im, Corey Connors, Lowry, Benny Ann, Parker Cooney. I'm now down to 7.3, and then that takes me to that range which I liked anyway, of Taylor Montgomery and all of that lot. Or if you really wanted the win in the equity, you could go for Bartier. Billy Horschel down here. Great course history on this place.
Sensational, Billy.
Yeah.
So I've done what have I done? Reverse order. Poston, Lowry, Berger, Connors, Hubbard, and then Coody. It's just too easy. That's getting saved.
And it's too easy because the guys in the 5K range, some of them, I know we're using Parker Coody a lot, but there's a reason for that. We've told you that at the start of the show. But some of those guys in that 5K range are just they're just mispriced, really badly mispriced.
Yeah. And so you did mention. I was going to mention you got Billy Ho at 7. It's like absolutely nuts.
I mean, there's look, Ben Silverman, great finish last week, 6,000 dead on. There's loads down. Robbie Shelton's made loads of cuts this year, 6,000 dead on. Dylan Wu, who I've mentioned, this is a great course fit for him. Great course history here, playing really well again at the minute in the 6K range. There is loads down here.
Justin Lowers made his last 4.
Kevin Yu,
pretty middle,
who can make loads of birdies. Lee Hodges, great course history around here. I bet him 100 to 1 this week. Won in the 3M Open, similar golf course, loads of water. I'm just reading off names here that I could. Brandon Wu is another one. He's like Dylan Wu, that make loads of birdies, always make the cut. Just there's loads. The pricing needs to get better if this is going to be a staple going forward.
Yeah, they need to increase the top end. Really make you make a decision. A little bit like they've done with the F1 DFS. They need to make you make a decision.
Most definitely.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we say it's easy. Obviously, there's still the same amount of players get through the cut, so there's going to be plenty of these players who don't get through the cut. But if you imagine for 1 minute that it was the top 65 from here, then you're actually down to 6.3. So that shows you how sort of relatively easy that is.
Yeah.
It's just daft. It's just daft. Anyway, cool. That's been great. Wow, I think we went a bit long there talking about different ways to do that. It might be, it might be awful, the 5K thing, but it's given us lots to talk about in terms of strategy.
Yeah,
Most
definitely.
So, any last words of wisdom, Jack, before you go?
No, just have a good week this week. It's a good golf course. So I'm looking forward to watching it. Please don't water it, PGA Tour. Just please don't do that. Make them play on concrete. Jack will be very happy. You can find me on the Twitter at JH for Dome Media. The tracker is always getting updated constantly. It's as up to date as it can be right now. So check that out at Fantasy National. Newsletter will be out tomorrow. Sign up for that on the PFD show. Get in the Discord for the Showdown cause, and I think that's pretty much it, Mark.
Yeah, I think that's the lot. And obviously the PGA do watch the show, so they will know what you said, Jack. You can find me on the Twitter at _SMRF. And we will see you next Tuesday.